Hi everyone, it's Tess from teachwithtess.com. Today we're going to be talking about teacher burnout, especially for online teachers. Everyone is suffering, I think, a little bit at the moment, whether you're a brick and mortar teacher or truly all the time online teacher. That was rubbish. Whether you're a brick and mortar teacher or if you're teaching ESL online like myself, there's a real struggle to get the balance between work and life right, and it's not easy. And if you look into my eyes, you can see that at the end of this week I'm going to be on holiday and I really need it. Anyway, on this channel you'll find everything you need to know about Wales English, teaching ESL online, and of course working from home. So today the topic I've chosen is actually quite personal because I have, like many of us, made that transition from working in an office where there were really structured hours to working online with a different time zone and being my own boss, and therefore feeling quite a lot of pressure to do everything you can to make as much money as you can to make sure that you can keep your family alive and kicking and healthy and with a roof over their head and all the rest of it. And so I just wanted to break this down into 8 points, and to give you some of the things that I find keep me centered as a teacher and as somebody who struggles and am tired a lot. And I don't teach in one of the countries that have a big time difference with China, for instance. I think for other teachers like in the States or South America, it can be really tough. Anyway, let's go through this. Remember to have a look below in the description box. You'll find lots of information about the website I have, teachwithtess.com, and other information if you're wanting to move into online teaching. I am a top recruiter for Wales English, so I'd be very happy to help you. But head down there and have a look, and of course like the video and subscribe if you find my content helpful. Right, so number one, my first thought, or my first piece of advice, I suppose, to help you avoid teacher burnout is the following. So when you're starting off, if you're working for a company like Wales English, you need to open potentially a set amount of hours. For us, it's 8 peak hours, which in the UK works out as currently in summertime from midday to 2 p.m. So for me, it's fine. But for other teachers, it can be really early in the morning. Now, do be careful about opening up every single slot you possibly have. Be rigorous on yourself and say, right, I am going to open up X amount of slots and I will keep to that, because there can be a lot of temptation when you start teaching to open up every single slot that you have available to make sure that you have as much possibility or as much chance as possible to be booked. Now, that's fine. But remember, with some companies, such as Wales, you can have a contract of 12 months. Now, if you suddenly realise that teaching at 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning is not something that you can do long term, then you've got a problem, because it's not that easy to change. At least it isn't for Wales. Other companies, they're slightly more flexible. We have these regular classes. You can't just change. So please think of that life-work balance and just open up the slots that you know, through time change or not, you'll be able to teach on a regular basis and stick to them. So the second thing, which I think is vital, especially for my lovely teacher friends the other side of the pond, and to a degree the other side of the ocean, think about your sleep. It's absolutely vital to have a good sleep pattern. Now, if you've never worked night shifts before, I haven't, thank heavens. I've got up very early, but I've never done that. I think, it can really affect your body and your body clock. And if you're not sleeping properly, everything else is just going to go bleep, 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 bleep. It won't go well. It can be psychologically and physically exhausting to do this sort of work and to do it every day. Hence the point before, really consider the slots you're opening. So try to stick to a routine. Have a time when you're trying to go to bed, and go to bed. Try and make the environment that you're in as peaceful and as sleep conducive as possible. Have some blackout curtains. I know that made a huge difference for me. I never thought I needed anything to keep the light out, but I suddenly realized I was waking up so early. I now have a blackout blind. Changed my life. Try one out. They're really great. If possible, try to get between 6 and 8 hours a night. You know, me personally, I'm so bad at preaching this because my sleep is terrible. I told you my eyes are not looking great today, but I do try. I try to be in bed 10:30 every night, and I try to sleep through to 6 o'clock every day. Doesn't always work, but I know I really will pay for it if I don't sleep well. And most importantly, for those who are getting up very early, have some sort of routine, some wake up routine. Make sure everything you need for teaching is ready the night before. Your desk is laid out, everything, props, everything is ready, and have your little routine to help you wake up. You know, I don't know, it could be having coffee, it could be just meditating for a few minutes, it could be just taking stock of what you're doing that day or that morning, just to ground yourself. Now something else, my third tip, and again, oh, do I know how hard this can be sometimes, especially having been working inside because we had to with the COVID pandemic. But outside is a really good place to be. If you have any opportunity during the day when you're not teaching to work outside, doing your feedback or whatever it is, be outside. The effect of fresh air, of exercise, and of just resting your eyes on something other than the screen can be massive. Now, we all have a lot of work to do. It's not just a teaching element of it. Whichever school you're working for, whether it's actually as a physical bricks and mortar school and you're just currently online, or if you're teaching for an online school or at school or whatever it is, or you're building an online brand, we are always in front of our screens at the moment. So take time to be outside and have fresh air. It is really powerful. Now, if you're feeling burnt out, it could be possible to sort of have a look at or track your activities. How are you spending your days? You can either use, she says, showing off a non smartwatch, but you have so many watches now that can track steps. They track your heartbeat. They can collect a whole load of data about how you're spending, how much movement and exercise you're doing every day. But if you don't want to use a watch like that or haven't got one, I think it's also really valuable just to take down notes. Write down, how are you spending your days? How much time is sat at your desk? How much time is moving? Or how much time are you spending moving around? Because honestly, that makes such a massive difference. So if I go up that hill, go for a stroll, just get fresh air, I always come back feeling energized and far more productive work-wise, for sure. If you set yourself a goal, I challenge you, every day you're going to do something. It can be even if it's just round the block. It really doesn't have to be far, especially when the weather's horrible. You might not want to go off or have the time to go off for an hour or two walking. But there were days over the winter when I knew I just needed to get away from this space, and I just walked out the door and I literally put my headphones on, hood over against the rain, and I just walked, and I walked around the block. It would take 10 minutes, maybe 15 if I went via 2 blocks, but you know, it's just headspace and getting away from your desk. Absolutely vital. So the fifth thing I wanted to talk about is the physical and I suppose how to mitigate physical and mental hazards as you're working from home, because it really can be quite difficult. I can't stress how important it is to not be sedentary. I know I've mentioned that before, but I'm going to put it in again, because it is and can be an entirely sedentary life, working online, teaching online. I'm sitting now making this video. I could stand, but I like the frame, so I always sit when I'm doing my videos. And the other thing I really suggest, because I'm not going to harp on about physical activity, I'll just have, but try standing up. Try teaching standing up. If you haven't, it's a game changer, because for a long time I was sitting down and my back suffered, everything suffered. I didn't have any energy, and I now have a stand-up desk, but you can use an ironing board and a box. It doesn't matter, just anything to have your computer at eye height. And it transformed my teaching and my physical and mental well-being, because I could dance around and mess around with the students when I was teaching, but I can always do my exercises. You know, I can do my hamstrings, you know, exercises and squats. Well, not squats, but you know what I mean. But it makes a big difference. It gives you energy and it energizes your teaching, so your teaching is also better. So remember, the other thing you can do, number 6, depending on if it's your sort of thing, is some form of meditation. Just taking the time to think, to sit up straight, to breathe, to notice your thoughts but not necessarily engage with them, to breathe, and then try to do this 10 minutes a day, maybe something like that. It can really center people. For some people it absolutely works miracles. And then finally, number 7, make sure that you have routines and rituals that center yourself. Super important. So for instance, if you're having a rubbish day, have something that you can go back to. Something I always do is have a cup of coffee. I know this sounds ridiculous. A cup of tea in the afternoon, hot drink. If things are really just rubbish, or I feel like I've just had some bad lessons, or I'm working on my online business and my brand and I'm lacking clarity or self-doubt, that massive gremlin on, imposter syndrome is there going. I tend to go, I stop, I go out, I get my coffee, my cup of tea, and I just sit down and listen to music for 5 minutes. It's a ritual that I do all the time, and it grounds me. And I find that, something else I do very often is a washing up. Sounds really odd, but it's something that I find methodical, easy to do. It takes my mind away or off the things that haven't been going very well. Most important thing though is to find something that you do that isn't in your office. So something else I do is, you can't see, there you go. My garden. My garden is coming back to life. It's April 2021 when I'm doing this video, and it's beautiful out there. It's beautiful and sunny. That is where I go, to be honest. I'll take my cup of coffee out there and I'll just go and breathe and stop. Have a ritual that grounds you. It can be just having a shower. It can be anything that you want, but it has to be something that centers you and focuses you, so you can go to that, whether it is you're having a good day or bad day. It doesn't matter. I have my nails done. My daughter is at home from university. She loves doing nails. It's great. I always have my nails done. It's something else that I love doing, but that's her grounding. She does that when she just needs to de-stress. Lucky me. And finally, your good old friend, the water bottle. Drink a lot of water. I suppose those are my thoughts on teacher burnout, but it's very real. It's very easy to get there, and we can all put ourselves under so much pressure to be exceptional at our jobs, or as good as we possibly can be. And if we're not as good as we want to be, then we beat ourselves up and we can burn out. And when you burn out, or you're not doing, when you're feeling tired and you're not doing what you think you can do, your teaching suffers. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I hope they're helpful. I hope you aren't feeling burnt out. Make sure you take time for you.